I'm more of a thinker, a clinical trials person. I'm a regular doctor. And Dennis pointed to the buildings where research is run in South San Francisco, and he said, Sue, I've got buildings full of molecular biologists. I don't need another one of those. I need some help from a physician who can help me translate that great molecular biology into medicines for patients. And now I sort of laugh at that conversation, but I thought, gosh, I wonder if I'll fit in here. I'm not a scientist who uses recombinant DNA technology. And I like to tell my colleagues in research about my favorite animal, a human being. And bringing that to the table mattered and matters today. So don't underestimate what you bring to the table. So the famous Thomas Edison quote of 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration brings me to the third thing you need to do to make the leap from dreaming to innovating. Be relentless. Herceptin is a drug that is now famous for helping breast cancer patients. Herceptin can double the chances that a woman who's diagnosed with breast cancer, with the most difficult form of breast cancer, will stay in remission. When I moved from Bristol Myers to Genentech, my friend said, oh, you're going to that crazy company who's trying to make an antibody to treat cancer. No one can do that. That's audacious. Many, many times during the development of Herceptin, we thought we wouldn't get it done. We nearly didn't enroll the first trial. We didn't have a diagnostic ready for commercialization. The twists and turns that molecule took on its way to becoming what's now a seminal drug in the area of personalized medicine. Every step along the way, I kept thinking of those patients who I saw in practice, who I had to have that dreadful conversation. You have the scariest form of breast cancer. And now you can say you have the scariest form of breast cancer and Genentech makes something that can help you. So the relentlessness to make life better for patients is driving what I do and my colleagues at Genentech do to make a difference and to innovate. So talking about the power of dreams today, I want to close by saying that in my field of medicine, there's never been a better time to be a dreamer. And despite what you hear about all the despair about healthcare, it's a fantastic time to be in healthcare and to be a scientist who loves innovation. I'll freely admit, if you haven't figured that out already, that I'm an optimist. A few years ago, somebody who wrote a story where they interviewed me called me a chronic believer. I think that's a good thing. I was a little puzzled when I read that, but now I've decided that's a good thing to be a chronic believer. But mine is not an optimism that is based on some dreaminess of false hopes and false hunches, but data. I'm data-driven and hope and expect things will be better in the future because it's about the science and the progress that we've made in our understanding of human biology and the human genome and what that allows us to do. I think we're at the midst of a real revolution in medicine and on the cusp of doing important things, not just for patients, but for human beings who would rather avoid diseases in their future. This is a revolution that even Thomas Edison would appreciate. So finally, I want to point out two things to you. One, that I'm happy to be joined by some of my colleagues from Genentech here today. I'm always uncomfortable to be singled out. I love Edison's focus on teams because everything we do at Genentech is based on teamwork and the power of all these people pointed in the same directions. So let me end with my very favorite Thomas Edison quote that hopefully is as inspirational to you as it is to me. If we all did the things we are capable of, we would literally astound ourselves. Thank you again for celebrating what myself and my colleagues at Genentech have done. Special thanks to Sue for such a nice introduction, and thanks to the Edison Awards group for choosing me to receive the Edison Achievement Award. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, David and Susan, for a couple of very inspirational speeches. And I think everybody here will feel like going out and innovating. Our next presenter is dealing with some of the most challenging problems in our world today, energy and sustainability. And this afternoon, to introduce the finalists in this category, we have Mr. Rex Northen, Executive Director of Clean Tech Open. Clean Tech Open is an organization of leading entrepreneurs, academics, investors, and companies working together to accelerate the development of clean technology startups. Rex has worked tirelessly not only in establishing this group, but in building visibility for its members in Washington, D.C. His background in design, the development and implementation of business automation systems, as well as high-level sales and consulting, has equipped him for this unique role. Any inventor, technologist, or clean tech enthusiast can participate in the Clean Tech Open, which is a series of contests evaluating diverse forms of clean energy. There are 6 competition categories in California and 1 general category in the Rocky Mountain and Pacific Northwest regions. Winners selected by the Clean Tech Open panel receive a range of cash and services donated by high-profile sponsors. In just the past 3 years alone, the Clean Tech Open has awarded over $2.7 million worth of prizes. So if it's clean energy technology, Rex has probably seen it come across his desk. So please join me in welcoming Rex Northen to the stage.
So it's always good when they ask you to follow not just one, but 2 of the top people of the 20th century, of course. So back to the world of energy and sustainability. Thomas Edison's invention of the incandescent electric light and the system of electrical power transformed the world. But Edison was also a major proponent of energy conservation and espoused the use of carbon-free energy forms as early as 1905, when he invented the world's first storage battery. He said, I'd put money, and hear this, I'd put money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until oil and coal run out before we tackle that. Those were prescient words, of course. Thomas Edison was nothing if not an advanced thinker. And yet, Edison might be shocked at how little some things in the energy space he pioneered have changed, how little some of those things have changed in the 30 years since 1879, when he built his first high-resistance incandescent light. In the Department of Energy's own words, if Alexander Graham Bell were somehow transported to the 21st century, he would not begin to recognize the components of modern telephony. But Thomas Edison, one of the grid's key early architects, would be totally familiar with the modern grid. Things are, of course, finally changing. 2009 is, in fact, a watershed year in the energy space. High-energy CFLs, those compact fluorescents, the little twisty, twirly bulbs, are here, and higher efficiency white LEDs are on their way. The LED, the white LED, gives you about 10 times better efficiency than today's incandescent bulbs. So incandescent bulbs, sorry Thomas, are finally being phased out in the European Union starting this September, and in Australia starting in 2010. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the stimulus, directs $4.5 billion to development of a new smart grid, a swish new transmission system, which we ultimately hope will carry solar from the deserts of the Southwest and the gusty plains of the Midwest, and we'll put a smart meter in your home that will automatically switch on your air conditioning only when your iPhone tells the smart meter that you are 2 blocks from home. Huge strides have been made in sustainability. Here in California, AB 32, which is the Global Warming Solutions Act of 2006, and SB 375, the anti-sprawl bill, signed by Governor Schwarzenegger last September, both move sustainable practices beyond marketing niceties to corporate necessities. And in a different part of the energy universe, advanced software and drilling techniques are changing the face of oil and gas exploration.